I want to tell you a story. Something happened to me recently that made me have an epiphany, basically. So as you know, if I didn't tell you before, then I'll tell you now. I moved out of an apartment and into a home with my kids. So I've been doing a lot of furniture shopping lately for home decor and stuff. And I done fucked around and fell in love with somebody at the furniture store. Just kidding, but not really. Let me explain. Let me tell you something. So what had happened was I was out shopping for furniture for the new place, you know, doing my thing. Looking at greenery and picking out bed sheets and whatnot. And the sales associate comes up to me as they normally do. And you know, he's giving me the whole spiel. He hit me with the, hi, how are you? Is there anything I can help you find today? Mind you, this man is fine with a capital S. So let's the move. Now he was tall. He was 6'2", had very, very white teeth. A luscious head of hair. Like golden brown curls, green eyes. He was dressed nice. I don't know about you, but in my opinion, furniture salesman, low key, they be slaying the suit game. It's like, you look so good. For what reason? You literally sell furniture. They really be on their suit tight shit. And don't even get me started on when they got on a really nice pair of suit bottoms. And that thing just be thing, you know, it's kind of, it be poking. Y'all be like, it's the gray sweatpants in the print for me. I'd be like, it's the gray suit pants in the print, dare I say, bulge for me. I'm not gonna lie, that shit low key got me like, y'all know I'd be playing too much, but that's besides the point. I'm gonna show you a picture. This picture is the closest picture that I could find that looks almost exactly like him without exposing him, because I'm not gonna be posting his actual picture. So now that I set the scene, let me tell you what happened. So we get to talking and he's like, what are we decorating? Right off the bat, he starts questioning me and he's like, are we decorating the whole house? Are we doing room by room? And I was like, I'm planning on doing things room by room. I was telling him that I really wanted to enjoy the process and I wanted to make slow decisions so I can make sure I get exactly what I'm looking for. So the whole idea was to do bigger pieces of furniture first and then fill it in. And he goes, well, since we're gonna be taking things slow, I hope that means that I'll see more of you and very often. I was like, oh. So he hands me his business card and I tell him what I'm looking for the house. I'm explaining to him the color palette, telling him that I only like neutrals and stuff. And already I was feeling like there was something different about his vibe. Not a bad different, it was like a good different. I've worked with salespeople before, but he was just very attentive. He was making lots of eye contact, lots of, you know, the shoulder touching and whatnot. And I was playing it off like, oh my God, he's such a good, he's probably just a really good salesman. Like, he knows how to make his customers feel comfortable. Oh my God, hold on. I gotta get my customer service voice on. But it's like a man voice. That's my girl customer service was like, yeah, I can help you with that. But his was more so like, yeah, I can help you with that, I guess. So somewhere along the way, while we're walking and talking and looking at linens and rugs, he stops for a second and he was right in front of me because I was following him, right? And he turns around and looks at me and says absolutely nothing. So at this point, I'm confused because he's looking at me and I'm looking at him. This man cracks a smile, but it wasn't a regular smile. One of these, you know what I'm saying? A little half smile action. He kind of scoffed a little bit and then he says something along the lines of like, I know this is a little bit unprofessional, but I just think you're so beautiful. You have such a pretty smile. When I tell y'all, I immediately was like, this smile? This one right here? Oh my God, thank you. But inside, y'all, I was hyperventilating. My feet were sweating. My heart was pumping. It was like an internal, ah! And then I complimented his hair. But again, I refused to take that as any sign. And I literally was just, oh my God, he's being so nice. Like, the customer service here, immaculate. You know what love languages are? So words of affirmation doesn't even normally have a high rating on my love language list. But I love compliments. I was eating that shit up like, yum. So I didn't want to overthink it. So, you know, we're talking, getting to know each other between all the walking around and stuff. And you know, I casually mentioned the kids. And he looks at me and his eyes like light up. And he's like, you have kids? I was like, yeah, I have 2 baby boys. And he was like, no way, I have 2 boys as well. And we're both just looking at each other like, wow, that's crazy. What a coinky dink. So I showed him pictures of the boys and he was like, oh my God, they have great hair. And then he turned that into a compliment to himself and he was like me, like, your kids have gray hair, I have great hair type situation. Then he casually tried to bring in dad, right? Like asking where dad is he in the picture? Like that kind of stuff. And I straight up was just like, we're divorced. And he goes, same. What a small world. Then he goes on to tell me about his separation. And we asked about mine. I had to hit him with that, it's complicated. So we're getting to know each other. Then he goes on to say, I don't know if this might be overstepping and you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but do you want to have more kids? I really want a baby girl. Then he says, I'm not gonna lie, we would have the cutest babies with the greatest hair. So tell me how, instead of like, why my first reaction wasn't to be like, wait a damn minute. I got so sidetracked and so excited talking about baby girls that I literally just went straight into the conversation without recognizing the connotation and was just like, oh my God, I would love to have a baby girl. And she would have such cute hair and I'm putting her such cute outfits. Like I was really just eating it up, feeding into the bullshit. But in the middle of my rant about baby girls, I think somewhere down the line, somewhere along there, it processed and it was like, boom, hit me like a ton of bricks. In my inner thoughts, the ones that are sometimes supposed to say inner, they came out. So I literally said out loud, I said, wait a minute, oh my God, are you flirting with me? And he starts busting out laughing. He's like, maybe, yeah, if that's what you want to call it. I was so flustered that I literally told him, I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm black. Because if I wasn't, you would totally be able to tell that I was blushing right now. And he basically goes on to say that he would love to take me out sometime. And I'm sitting there and I'm just confused. I was hesitant, so I was like, I don't know about all that. So we can start by exchanging numbers. So we exchanged numbers, we began texting. He was texting me regularly, so he was constant and he was consistent. So like we would talk every day. He'd be talking like, when is the next time you're gonna come to the store? When are you gonna come see me? We got some new inventory, like all that stuff. Saying whatever he could to just get me back in the store. And get this, let's do a little rewind. Let's flash back to the first time I was shopping. When I'm shopping, I like to have something to drink, so some coffee or something. So the last time I was in the store, he actually ended up asking me what I was drinking. And I told him my Starbucks order, and I jokingly asked him if he wanted a sip. And he was like, actually I do. I'm not gonna lie, I do that all the time and I've never actually had somebody take me up on my offer. So again, shook, because it's normally as a joke, but I gave him a sip. He was talking about how delicious it was, and no, we did not share, we did not swap spittage, y'all. That's so nasty. I would never do that with a stranger. He had his own cup. But anyways, hold this thought. Keep this in mind as I move to the next part of the story. So we set up an appointment for like 11 a.m. on Wednesday to do more furniture shopping. I come in and old boy's waiting at the front of the store with 2 coffees in hand, one for him and one for me. I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet. Thank you. I literally already had another drink in my hand, but at the end of the day, it's the thought that counts. This is about 2 weeks later after the time that we had met. So we had been doing our thing for about 2 weeks in between. He goes, I would love to get to know you. I know confidence intimidates most men, but I find your energy very sexy. Let me take you on a date. I was like, fine, I give in. I was like, when are you taking me out? And he basically told me he has a meeting out of town, but when he gets back, he wants to take me out. So we set up a date for the following Saturday, and then we continued to talk regularly. Now, things start to take a turn when he came back from his trip. So I guess you could say he was still flirtatious. He was just very distant, and he became more and more so distant like throughout the week, until eventually we just stopped talking. The last text messages that we have were me responding to one of his texts. He responded like a week later, so then I responded 2 weeks later because I'm petty, and he just went ghost, and I haven't heard from him since. Now I know you're probably thinking, girl, what the f, I was hoping for a romantic ass love story, and things randomly just took a 180. When this first happened, I was so confused. Like I thought we were cool or whatever, and the epitome of evil thoughts popped up in my head. Tell me why. For even a second, I thought of double texting this man. Like I just got the sudden urge to send him another text. I was like, the little devil on my shoulder was like, text him, see how he's doing, make sure he's okay. But then I remembered who I am. And the bad bitch angel popped up on my other shoulder. And she was like, girl, if you don't get yourself together. This man, for whatever reason, did not find you worthy of a reply. And for some reason, you want to text him again? At that point, all I could do is laugh. I had to tell myself, I had to ask myself. I was like, girl, you're a joke. Like, what? Why? Are you not embarrassed? This might sound like some tough love, but self-love is the best love, and sometimes we gotta check ourselves, babe. Was him leaving me on red not good enough? Like, being so for real, what would anybody in my position have sent him? Like, I need an explanation. Explícame, por favor. What's not clicking, sis? Ghosting is quite literally one of the most disrespectful things that a person could ever do. It's literally them telling you that you're not worthy of an explanation. Essentially, somebody is telling you that you are so insignificant, so unimportant, you mean so little to them that they can't even spare a moment to reply. You're not even worth a reply. But for some reason, you still want to talk to them. Why? Why do we do that? So the saying goes, the truth always hurts. I'm the type of person that would rather be slapped with the truth than caressed with a lie. I recently had this situation where I had to cut off this relationship with this one guy that I was talking to because we just didn't click. It was hard. It took me a minute to form a well-written sentence to kind of explain to him my position and hopefully help him understand that he was not the issue. It just wasn't there for me. Rejection never feels good for anybody, but I did it because I personally would rather state my stance than have another person wondering why they weren't good enough, essentially. So I actually ended up going back to the furniture store and seeing him in passing, and every time he would look directly at me. So he would smile and stuff, and I'd be like, sometimes he would try to come up to me and talk to me, but I feel like the best thing that you can do when somebody tries to ghost you, honestly, is Nothing. I ignored him, to be honest. People get ghosted for a plethora of reasons, but all in all, it's disrespectful. Don't entertain it by having some sort of a desperate response. Desperateness attracts manipulation. You as an individual are worthy of anything that you desire. Worthy of love, worthy of attention, worthy of a response. I feel like a lot of the times when people get ghosted, the first thing that you do is you blame yourself. You immediately jump to the conclusion that, oh my God, I must have done something wrong. I must have said something wrong to make this person feel this way. Like I'm the reason that they don't want to talk to me. When it has nothing to do with you a lot of the time. It's a reflection of that person, their wants, and their needs. And if you don't necessarily meet their needs, that doesn't make you any more or less of a person. Because guess what? A person's needs are subjective. It doesn't mean you weren't good enough, because at the end of the day, you are good enough. Put yourself first. Life is about duality. There's good and bad. Rejection sucks, but it doesn't define you. A lot of the times in situations like this, you'll end up suffering so much more in your imagination than you will in reality. You gotta change your mindset a little. I want to take this as a growing opportunity and a lesson learned. Either that I'm not ready for something or that something simply wasn't for me. You are your toughest judge, and at the end of the day, only you can hold yourself to that standard. You are good enough. I try to be optimistic, but I'm also a Capricorn, so I feel like I try to balance that mix of emotions and fantasy with reality. And I also try to understand that if something works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's fine. You kind of have to learn how to not care too much, because caring too much stems from a fear of loss. And guess what? You shouldn't really fear the loss of something that was never really meant to be yours. If anything, let it go. Allow bigger, allow better, allow anything and everything that was meant for you to come to you or be given to you. Those are just some of the things that I told myself while I was going through it. And I wanted to share that with you just in case you might be feeling less than. Always remember who you are. Gas yourself up. Talk nice to yourself, friend. I gotta go, but I love you so much. I'll see you later.